I've been sent 2 more airbrushes to review by Gallery. This one has got a fancy scalloped needle cover, nice double action, feels really good quality. This one got a trigger. Find out more about both these airbrushes and put some paint through them right here on Gary Stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Yes, today I am looking at these 2 airbrushes sent to me by Gallery for review. Now, I've put paint through both of them. I've used both of them actually on a model as well as just spraying it at a bit of paper. So I'll show you what I've thought of them. I think they're both really actually quite fun products. Which would I have? You'll find out later which I'd have. Anyway, what you'll also find out later is the codes that you can put in. If you buy these on Amazon.com, which is where they're currently available, there'll be a code I'll put out at the end of the show that will give you 15% off your purchase. And of course, you've got shipping and possibly import duty, depends how the customs people feel. Anyway, I'll go through all of the numbers later on, but first of all, I want to just put some paint through, show you what it looks like. Before we continue, these are free samples. Gallery did send them to me for free, but they're not paying me to say anything in particular about it. So the opinions here are my own and they're honest. So let's crack on and see what happens when you put paint through these airbrushes. So here's the first airbrush I'm looking at today, the GHPM-65. It's from the premium range of Gallery brushes. The box very much to their branding with the silhouette of the product that's graduated against a dark background, very nice. On the side here it says it's primarily for fine and medium airbrush use, which is excellent. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah, very smart, very nice. Let's have a look inside. The slipcase is the main box with the Gallery logo stamped into the lid. That looks very smart. These slip-ons always take a bit of getting off. There we go. Inside the lid of the box is a list of all the parts. It is very useful if you're either a reviewer, in which case it sounds like you know what you're talking about, and say, oh yes, the needle chucking nut was a bit tighter than I hoped, or whatever. It isn't. I don't know if it is or not yet, I haven't tried it. But at least you can sound like you know what all the parts are called. But also, more importantly, if, for example, you're doing a deep clean of these, you drop a bit, you can't find it, you need to get onto Mr. Gallery and say, I can't find the needle guide. Can I have a new one, please? Then at least you know what the part is called, rather than that bit that goes on the bit at the front, you know, behind. You've got the spring and then the thing that screws onto it. Well, that thing in the middle, yeah, at the front there's something else, and that's what I've lost. You just say, I need a needle guide from a GHPM-65, please. Job's done. Inside the box we have the quick start guide. All the Gallery brushes seem to come with these, and you know, they're fine. They're pretty useful actually. Adding the paints, how to use the airbrush itself. I mean, if you probably know a lot of this stuff, but it's just double checking with you. If you're getting problems with your spraying, it's quite often issues that you see with spraying are quite often to do with the dilution of the paint. And it is quite an art to get that dilution right. It takes a lot of practice, but that gives you an idea. If you're seeing that or that, then you know what the issue is. There's some Q&A bits here, how to switch colours, change colours, essentially clean the brush between uses. Common issues that you find lots of people have with airbrushes. A lot of this is because you're not cleaning properly, by the way. And then how to do deep cleaning when every now and again you need to properly give it a clean out, and that's how to do it. When you do give it a proper clean out, quite often you just need to give it a bit of lubricant on the main trigger control. Inside it's pretty simple. There's the airbrush itself, which is here. It's got a little dust cap that goes over the protective cap that goes over the top there. Quite a hefty feel to it. Yeah, very simple, very straightforward airbrush. Nice, kind of feels quite nice in a way. It's an airbrush, what can I say? It does have quite a nice heft to it, which makes you think actually it's made of quite solidly. Tube of lubricant, as I say, if you do need to take the main control, leave it out, then you re-lubricate that so it runs nicely. And there's a little spanner in for when you need to take off the nozzle, because every now and again you do. For cleaning, you need to take off the nozzle. You'll notice compared with the advanced level brushes, which I've been showing you in a previous video, this has got a different design of guard here. This is probably the bit that actually, part of this at least, helps you get better atomization as it's coming out, so you get best control of smaller details. Maybe, I guess that's what it is. The paint pot here is fixed, so a 1/4 ounce paint pot. That just means you get a nice mirrored feed into there. If you've got a changeable pot, then you can get a hump, an edge there, which can cause problems sometimes. But this is just a bit more fancy if you like. And there's a quick release comes supplied, that can just come off if you don't use quick releases. So there we go. We'll have a closer look at the actual brush now. So here's the brush in a bit more detail. There it is, GHPM-65. Comes with a 0.38 needle pre-fitted. This is the valve stop, so if you screw that in, then the feed valve is limited how far you can put that back. So that limits the amount of paint you can put in on any one time, or you can just screw it back and it's free. The needle is accessed through here. You can obviously do it through these gaps. I just find it a lot easier just to get in here, open up this and pull the needle back. I'm only doing that for the moment because I'm going to be taking these off and I don't want the needle exposed and I don't want to bend the end of it. The nozzle here, the cover is scalloped, and that apparently gives better atomization of the paint as it comes out, especially at closer work and lower pressures, just why presumably it's in the premium range. That unscrews. The nozzle cover is here, and of course then there's the nozzle itself. It's a screw-in type, so that's why you get the little spanner that comes with it. It's quite deeply recessed on here, which is nice. It gives you a good sort of grip to it. I guess pretty much this is sort of designed so you're not going to be changing much. You're going to use this for finer work, and you're not going to need to change it for anything else, because if you're going to do a load of like wide area work, you're probably going to get a different brush to do that with. The pot, as I say, is fixed on here, so you can see. Let me get something that's can point with that's not going to scratch, because I'm going to scratch this lovely polished surface with something metal. So there's a wooden stick. You can see it's polished so the flow goes straight down into the feed. There's not a large feed chamber here. It just goes straight down into the back of the feed point down in there. That's going to make it easier to clean. It should make it easier to use smaller amounts as well, because you can dose much smaller amounts into there, and it's really easy to use. And it should just sort of flow through because it's polished. Do make sure you keep that clean. Really do make sure you keep it clean. Okay, let's put it all back together again. All these bits just screw on as normal quite nicely. The main control here, up and down for the air supply, and then back and forwards to control the paint as normal with a single action brush like this. It's really easy. The quick release is fitted here, so you can take that off. You don't have a quick release system, which I don't actually yet. then that goes straight onto your feed line of your compressor. So let's put the needle back in place, put the rear assembly back on as well, because you get the balance back as well, apart from anything else. When this is on, it becomes really nicely balanced. It's got a nice feel, nice quality feel to it. The spring's got a good tension there, and then this, I'm going back, it's got a nice spring rate, so it actually feels further back. You kind of have a bit more control in a way. It's a nice feeling. And yeah, that's it. Let's see what it's like when we actually put some paint through it. The spray cloud from the nozzle seems reasonably tight for a general purpose brush. The droplets are quite fine. Now I'm using ICM camouflage green paint diluted 50-50 with sprue box thinner and with a few drops of Vallejo flow improver, running a compressor at about 15 psi, just over 1 bar. Getting in close here, it's pretty easy to control the paint flow to get quite dense lines with well feathered edges. It's easy enough to control without letting too much paint out, in case you haven't set the needle stop, of course. It doesn't take long before you can control the flow and distance to get the effect you want. Doing complex schemes like Italian aircraft camouflage would be fairly easy with the control you can get here. And of course, you can still use it for larger areas as well as priming and varnishing, thanks to the 0.38mm nozzle. So here's the other airbrush I'm looking at today, the GHAD-68. This is from the advanced range. Obviously the previous one was the premium range. It comes with all sorts of bits and pieces we'll have a look at. On the side here it does say this is intended mainly for medium use, although you can do a bit of fine or slightly wider work, but it's primarily for medium work. Let's have a look inside and see what we get. So the slipcase is all very smart, very branded GAAHLERI, as I've mentioned before. It's got the silhouette of the airbrush on it, gradient. Box feels nice and sturdy. Again, as usual, inside there's a parts list of all the bits that come with it. So if you're cleaning it and you drop a bit and the carpet monster eats it, then you can get in touch with GAAHLERI and say, I need a whatever, needle guide or whatever, and for a GHAD-68, and they know straight away what you're talking about. Okay, it also helps if you are doing a proper deep clean, you've taken some parts apart. Frankly, it does help sometimes knowing which bits go back in which order, but you should know that anyway, of course. They don't recommend disassembling the principal valve here, which fits into the hand grip here. There shouldn't be any reason to do that, to be perfectly fair. Okay, inside here we've got it says a test sample. I don't know if that's a real one or if that's like manufactured, I don't know. It says every airbrush is tested before it goes, so there might be a bit of paint residue. You just need to clean it out. It should be fine. I've not heard of that happening. And they just say if there's an issue, no need to return the brush. Contact to confirm the problem, and we will arrange a reshipment for you, which is pretty generous of them to do that, actually. So you don't have to send the airbrush back. If there's an issue with it, they'll just send you a new one, which I think is pretty fair. Inside, as usual, there's the instruction sheet, how to use the thing, effects. You know, as I've said so many times, the mixture, the dilution of your paint is the biggest issue most people will have when airbrushing. Getting that right is absolutely crucial and really, really difficult. It's sometimes down to individual pots of paint, how much they need to dilute, but these things are what to look out for if that's the issue. How to switch colour is essentially whenever you change colour, you need to clean it properly. There's another step I would do, which is to flush it through with hot water first. That really works well, and then use a cleaner. Other problems that might turn up, how to cure them, and how to deep clean the brush, which you do need to do now and again. If you've been working quite hard for a day doing airbrushing, especially if you're using acrylics, I find, then you'll need to do a deep clean on it. It's not a big issue, but it can be done quite easily. And if you are going to do a deep clean, always do make sure you lubricate the principal valve as well. That will keep your airbrush in tip-top condition. So inside the box, there's a little baggie here with some spare O-ring seals, which is nice because they do pack up after a while. They can perish a bit more with some paints, more of these sort of, if you need like extraction and airbrush and masks and everything else, then probably they're going to eat through these quicker than say a water-based acrylic will. And that's what you get in the package. You get the airbrush itself with its little protective guard on. This is the quick release, so you can screw that onto the bottom there if you have a quick release system. There's the tuber lube, as it were, that you're going to use to make sure that principal valve is nice and lubricated anytime you do a deep clean. There's two feed pots here, 1/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce. So that's going to be what, 6 mil and 12 mil roughly. This is the replacement nozzle and the replacement needle. It comes with a 0.38 millimeter fitted, and these is a 0.5 millimeter optional one. And this is the drop-in system, but we'll have a look at that later. And then there's the gun itself. Feels really nice in the hand, I have to say. Probably meant for a hand slightly smaller than mine because these lines don't line up, but yeah, it's not a big issue. It's not the end of the world. And yeah, nice action. We'll talk about that a bit more, but that action is actually really nice. This, I've got a feeling this could start to actually be my principal brush for most work because I like that. Okay, let's have a look at how this breaks down. I've put on the 1/4 ounce cup on here. It's what, about 6 milliliters or so, thereabouts. I don't know exactly. It's probably more than that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how many milliliters there are to the fluid ounce, which is a bit of a problem. Probably about 50 actually, in which case it's about 12.5. Anyway, you can see the feed goes into here. If you're only using a small amount of paint, you could just not bother with this and just drop some paint straight into there. But most of the time, I guess I'll probably be using it with the 1/4 ounce on top, like that. Yeah, very straightforward. I'll have a look at the needle setup. First thing to do, before we touch the needle though, or the needle nozzles and stuff like that, I'll just take the needle back a bit because I don't want to actually interfere with it. Don't bend the point of it or something when I'm messing around. So yeah, there's your nozzle guard there. Nozzle cover is here, and this is on this one, like the earlier one we showed you on another video. This is a self-seating nozzle, so you don't have to screw it in. It just sits into its housing like this, and then when you put this on, it sets itself in place. There's 8 little air channels around the side to let the air through, and it's all very nice. It makes it very easy to change. Of course, this is the 0.38 I have in here at the moment, and there's a 0.5 that comes supplied with it, and you can change those in seconds. There's no spanners or anything like that nonsense to do. This other part here, screw here on guessing, yeah, it's not easy to undo because you're not really supposed to undo it all that often. This is when you get access to the valve mechanism if you need to do a properly deep clean on it. You don't really want to disassemble the actual valve though if you can help it. The grip is here. There's a nut on here that holds it in place. It isn't, I won't say cosmetic, it's actually quite functional because it allows you to hold it. You can take it off if you want. I have seen some people actually like to do this. I think it's really awkward. Your thumb gets in the way and stuff like that. And I don't think it makes it any easier to use. So I'm happy to leave the guard on and use it that way. The quick release, if you have a quick release system, which I don't, quick release screws onto there. Otherwise, that's where your input from the compressor comes. So swapping out the needle and the nozzle is very, very straightforward on this. I really like it. There is a stop here as well, so if you want to really restrict the amount of paint that comes through, you don't want to make any mistakes, you can dial that right down and just use it. If you dial it all the way down, that just is useful as a pressurized air source actually, and you can just little bits of movement or just have it all the way back and you've got the full movement available. I like the spring tension in here. This first step is really easy and there's a very definite stop before you start releasing paint, and I like that. I actually find that very comfortable. I will now see how this handles when we put some paint through it. Straight away, of course, it's a very different feel with the trigger grip. I found it really easy to control for close-in work, although perhaps the atomization is a little coarser than the premium brush, so the feathering looks just a tiny bit more grainy. But pretty soon you can be applying really detailed lines, especially if you take off the needle guard. Where this airbrush is going to be really useful is in larger jobs because the grip is so comfortable. Looking at a real world use now, this is a 1/72 OV10 Bronco and I'm doing some pre-shading. First I'm using black. This is ICM black diluted 50-50 with sprue box thinner again, and once more a few drops of flow improver. I found the premium brush absolutely ideal for this. It gave me enough control and it gave me very well feathered edges. It works just as well applying pre-shade highlights. This is Vallejo Model Air White, thinned just with a few drops of flow improver. Again, really easy to control. I'm very happy with the result here. It's easy to get stronger or lighter effects over the basic grey primer. Now for the actual colour coat, ICM Camouflage Green, as I've used before. I'm using the advanced airbrush because I find the trigger action very comfortable. Moreover, it's easy just to release the trigger ever so slightly to stop the paint flow, but keep the airflow going. There's a definite difference in feel of the spring action. Now this helps dry the paint really quickly, so you can recoat in seconds. It's very useful in building up colour over pre-shading, as you can assess the dry colour and its density almost straight away. So there we go, two actually really nice airbrushes to use. Of course, you're going to say to me, which would I rather have? Do you know, it's like you always, you say to parents, oh, you must have a favourite child. And you go, no, of course I don't. No, I don't. No, of course I don't. In their heads, you're thinking, Yeah, of course you do. Everyone does. It's the way it is. Do I have a favourite out of these two? Yeah, I do. But it is such a narrow call. Trust me. It's such a narrow call. I love the accuracy this gives me. I wish I'd had this when I was painting my SM79, because I could have really done that Italian camouflage an amazing job with this. It's close in work with this double action trigger. It's just delightful. Run it about 15 psi or so. Remember, this is a 0.38 needle. It's not a 0.2 in your Iwata thing. 0.38 needle, and it's still doing some really fine, I think, really nice fine detail. For the sort of modelling I do, it's fine enough, let me tell you. It's a little different when you go to bigger areas, you're covering things. When doing coverage, this thing wins hands down. I mean, it still does the detail pretty well, as you saw, but for doing detail, especially if you're doing pre-shading and then you're putting the coat on top of your pre-shading, this is brilliant. The action of this is lovely. I've fallen in love with the action of this. You just get the air going, everything's fine, and you can just trickle in a coat of paint, and then just release the feed there. The paint stops, but the air keeps going. The air dries off that coat. You're using a paint like ICM, which is matte. You can actually see the paint dry right there. In like 10-15 seconds, it just dries. And you're ready, you can put on another coat and darken the coat again. I love it for that. And it is so good and easy to use for the bigger things when you're holding a model and this is brilliant. When you're doing really fine work, you're really close in, this is like using a pen. You know, you almost hold it like a pen, and to get that, and you can take this off and get really fine work as well. And also the atomization seems to be a little finer on this. So for that fine work, you're going to get better looking feathers at edges. I'm really lucky in my job and I get to keep both of them. Which you choose, I can't really tell you. The two of them are outstanding. I really like them. So the big question, how much? This one with a trigger, GHAD-68, the advanced 68 model. That is on Amazon.com in America, $70 minus a penny, $69.99. Okay, now I'm giving you a discount code that the lovely people at Gallery have given me. You can get 15% off that. So that $70 becomes $59.49, $59.50. So you're saving $10.50 straight away. Shipping on this, when I look today, $9.35. Put that all together, you're looking at £53.34 at current exchange rates. I must specify that, at current exchange rates, $53.34, which delivered from USA. It takes about 10 days, which for this, I mean, it's lovely to use. I mean, lovely to use, I have to say. The premium GHPM-65, this is $79.99, $80 minus a penny. With that 15% discount code, you get $67.99, $68. Because it's a smaller package, it's $8.69 shipping, and so that comes to $59.41. So, do you know what? You could, for £112, £113, have both of these delivered from the USA. This one, remember, comes with the 38 and the 0.5 needles as well, and two sizes of cup. They both come with quick release connectors as well. I think that's a bargain. I mean, I've used them, and these guys are going to be the things I use from now on. Absolutely brilliant to use, great to use, very comfortable, accurate. I like them. I like them a lot. And I'm not just saying that because they're free. I'm saying that because I really like using them. So I'll leave it to you to decide. But anyway, if you do want to go for it, those are the prices. Now, do bear in mind, I'm recording this in July of 2003. By September, October, they may well have a store set up in UK or in Europe. Prices will be varied. So have a look. If you don't want to do it right away with the code, hang around later. Do you know what? I'll make sure you still get a discount code even then. All right. Even if they sell it in the UK, I will make sure you get a discount code. Do have a good think about these brushes because they are really nice, and I'm properly enjoying using them. I'm a gallery fanboy now. I can't help it. I love them. So, if you've loved the show, and I hope you have, please remember, imperial thumbs up on the like button down there, because every like counts. And of course, if you want to see any more content on my channel, do make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell and you'll be notified of all my future videos as they are published. In any case, thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Take very good care. Goodbye.